My name's Yoav Shaked. I'm the COO here at Limit. Joined the company 5 years ago as one of the founders and have been working with myStartUpCFO almost ever since. I don't think we had the skills required to perform the typical accounting functions that you'd need in a high caliber, well-run company, right? Doing things like closing the financial books, generating the appropriate financial statements, ensuring that we had the right kind of financial reporting, such that in the future, when we would theoretically raise venture capital funding, we'd be prepared for the financial audit part of that process. Cost effectiveness, right? I needed a vendor who could compete on cost, but deliver well-balanced, correctly balanced books on a monthly basis, and the appropriate financial statements to supplement them. Evaluated a bunch of vendors, right? I think I probably evaluated 5 or 6, and I felt that myStartUpCFO by far delivered one, obviously a reasonably priced product, and two, some really high quality services, right? So for instance, I got to work with a real human. I wasn't really working with an abstraction layer. I had a qualified accountant assisting and consulting with me as needed as I was sort of building out the sort of financial operation for the business. And I felt that just having sort of a mix of accountant and to a certain degree almost consultant was super valuable, especially at the price point that we had, right? So I thought, it was just a slam dunk, and myStartUpCFO was a perfect fit. What we really needed was specifically the sort of accounting skill set, right? The ability to sort of, correctly allocate things to assets and liabilities, ensure that the books actually balance. What I didn't want is for there to be this sort of weird snowballing effect where maybe I'd set up systems the way that I thought they had to be set up, but the outcome here would be, unbalanced books, and then down the line, we'd be spending days trying to figure out what went wrong, right? Or have an accountant have to come in and go retroactive and fix all the mistakes that we made. So it was sort of very proactive. I knew that the bookkeeping and accounting finance skill set was like the one sort of like really important financial experience gap. And myStartUpCFO was just a perfect plug-in to sort of fill that in. I think the more important thing is that myStartUpCFO, specifically the bookkeeper that we've been lucky to work with, really spend time understanding the nature of the business, right? We are not sort of like the traditional SaaS kind of company insofar as there is an insurance brokerage element of our company. And that can be a little complicated financially, right? There's a lot of moving parts. You've got to sort of keep taxes in trust accounts, premiums in trust accounts. It isn't always so clear what sort of like belongs to the company, what doesn't belong to the company. So we had to set up all these systems to make it very clear and very organized. And it was nice to be able to work with a partner that wasn't looking for sort of like a cookie cutter business, that this is sort of the only model that we operate under. And if it sort of deviates slightly from that, we break. We had a very flexible accountant who could sort of spend time, understand how we actually do business, right? Understand the business model in the industry, and then build, in our case, it was a QuickBooks Online instance around the requirements, rather than sort of like impose some kind of cookie cutter thing and expect us to sort of get our system or our business operation to fit that. myStartUpCFO, I think, has helped us on 2 key avenues, as I said earlier. One was the sort of more general accounting avenue, right? Where we needed, robust books, robust bookkeeping, that kind of thing. And myStartUpCFO, 10 out of 10, did a phenomenal job there. The other avenue through which myStartUpCFO has helped us is on tax filing. Very important, right? As an insurance brokerage ourselves, we are licensed in all 50 states. And as such, there is a ton of tax-related filings that we have to do. And sort of myStartUpCFO's tax team rose to the occasion, helped us figure it out, and sort of took it upon themselves to do it all for us, right? The truth is, I don't really spend as much time identifying where I need to file, right? What I do is I spend a little bit more of my time just sort of reviewing some of the work, right? Because myStartUpCFO has figured it all out. And we just work really well together. It's really unbelievable. And in terms of sort of responsiveness and attentiveness to detail, we really couldn't be happier. myStartUpCFO delivers a consistent, high-quality service for anyone looking for a bookkeeper to plug in. I would, and I actively do, right? So as soon as anybody talks to me about either founding a company or complains about the fact that they are either missing accounting services or their current accountant isn't delivering the quality that they were looking for, I immediately route them to myStartUpCFO because we're so happy with the relationship.